marketers or consultants to set it up. Yeah, the amount of people who don't know what it is or how it works.
You know, I've been meaning to do this for some time and just start the show with the background chatter, and it's a much more interesting start.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome
Do
to the
it.
Law Firm Marketing Show and Tell. We are live. It's Friday, and we're just sitting around in the green room, as it were, having a quick chat. If you have joined us from various social posts, you may see that this is our last ever episode. It's time to put this one to bed. Basically, we're just all so incredibly busy. Herding these cats together every week is an absolute nightmare, I'll be honest with you. But no, it's been a great run. Do you remember when we first started? I know, Kat, you joined us a little bit later. But we started this and we've pretty much been going every week. We had a little break, I think, over the school holidays because little people, especially here, there was, when we used to do this in the evening, there was often a little face that would appear about here. And now we do it during the day. She is.
Well, she explained though. She seems to know more about digital than David did. So
she does. She does.
Well, with her iPad.
I tell you, we said before the show, it's half term starting. Amy's going to be back, and not just is Amy going to be back, probably by the time after we finish this, but she's got a play date as well. So there goes my quiet afternoon here. But yes, so yeah, we've been running this. I checked, and it was late February 2001, and we pretty much done every week. And that's been stressful
like
enough.
Years, but I'm not sure
it feels like it's been 21 years, that's for sure.
That's the number of scheduled meetings you've put in, and we've gone, oh no, we're a bit too busy.
Oh, there's been a few of those. We've taken a few official breaks, and then had, unfortunately, more recently, it just seems to be that it's been cancelled more and more because I just know if it's just me, nobody's really going to watch, basically. And if and the other side is that if Rich isn't around, then Team Dibbins, they just all switch off in the first 5 minutes. I see it in the stats. They just drop. It's frightening. The cheerleaders. Look, for one last time, let's run the intro. Rich, do you want to pick a number for the? It's between 1 and 6, and remember, so between 1 and 6 we have different theme music each week. Rich will be picking this week. It makes no difference because I just randomly pick one anyway and they're not labelled, but it makes him feel more part of the show, so I like to do that. Go for it, Rich.
I'm going to go with the big number 1, please.
Oh, that is a fabulous choice. That's my favourite too. Let's run VT and I'll see you on the other side.
Wow.
Good job picking number 1.
Unbelievable. You deserve a place in the Oscar.
Look, it's all templated on iMovie. The hardest part was finding that one episode when the original 5 of us were all together. Good God.
I absolutely loved that. I even leaned in. I started reading the credits.
Well, I thought I'd do something a little bit different.
That's
Brilliant.
brilliant.
Thank you for doing that.
So much. Yeah, I just want to say massive thank you to David for organising this every single week. Yes, it is
You're
hurting
welcome.
us, the rest of us, but organising this, setting up the links, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. You know, I take my hat off to you. You're very, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good fun. It's always nice to see each and every one of you every week, even you, Simon. So
I'm not
let's
on
you know, there's been some 23 episodes that we have done. We've had a number of guests on. We've generally run a pretty good show considering the forward planning that goes into it. We've only had one mishap, one small issue which we never talk about.
I'm gonna have to mute.
Just to say that we got to the end of the show, and the comment from the guest was, "What? This is live?"
Priceless.
Legal actions were started swiftly. Everything was deleted, and we never talk about that again.
Oh,
I haven't even got archival footage of that. But that was a highlight, especially after
what
was a pretty decent interview, pretty decent episode. Lasted about 45, 50 minutes, and then we had that bombshell, and that was fun. That was fun. But generally, I don't know whether it was the look on their face or the look on. We'll run it at the end as well. Whether it was the look on the guest.
I think it was the look on her face, but it was also the silence that then went afterwards, where you could see those inner machinations go through. And listen, all joking aside, I thought one of the questions, David, you've got a thing to go through, I'm sure, but it's my job to interrupt things and take us off the rail. I thought there's some lessons in here for marketers.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, right? And for lawyers, right? And I thought it'd be good fun today, at least at some point on the webinar, to talk a bit about that. And one of those is your release form that you've done since. Right, it was a really sensible thing to do. It just had to guess. Look, it is live. So
yes, if you wanted to appear on this show after that, you had to fill out a 3-page release form that basically signed your life away and gave us rights to use
from all 5 Magic Circles.
Have you had clearance from your boss, your employee, your mother,
your cat,
pretty much everything. And my favourite is the fact that we have the rights to use as we wish. It's there, stated in there, and of course we never particularly do. Maybe one day I'll do a greatest hits snippets video or something, but yeah, I mean, as you say, lessons learned. It reminded us that even with a casual webinar like this, release forms are always important. Don't forget the basics, as with everything else.
I think because Kat and I were talking about it the other day as well after we'd taken the decision. And I think having a go, it's been really important for me. I think during this period, I wasn't really confident about doing a public speaking. I know everyone always laughs about that when I say that, but I really didn't enjoy doing it before. And without you guys, I would never have kind of ventured into it, I don't think, as well. And 23 episodes in, it's changed what we do and how we do it. And I'm really, I'll always be grateful for having, kind of gone into this, given it a try, and then come out the other end thinking, all right. And I would encourage lawyers who are thinking the same. How do I connect with my audiences? Can I do this live? Is it possible? I tell you what, just have a go, right? Nobody is going to fault you for it, really. Just have a go.
I think just with the thought that, I mean, I've always found with these sort of things, you look back at those first ones, obviously not in this case, and you think how bad they were. We were off to a fabulous start straight from the beginning, obviously, with minor hiccups. But yeah, I mean, as they often say, it's just get on and do it. Give it a go. See what happens. So anyone have any favourite highlights apart from the notorious one over the week? Over the time of the show?
I'm going to say Martin Bragg was fabulous. I really, really enjoyed the conversation with Martin that we had. Even so that after that, myself and Martin had a few conversations in other areas within legal. So I just found his insights with BDM and the approach that he took was quite eye-opening. So yeah, Martin, if you're listening, watching, thank you. Really enjoyed it.
No nonsense marketer, Martin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you worked with him, didn't you, Kat?
Yeah, at Pinson's. So yeah, I think all of my guests. Martin was your guest, but all of mine were people that I used to work with. So.
And Kat, did just to put you on the hot seat there. So, out of all the people that you previously worked with and brought onto the show, who was your favourite?
Sarah Croot. I think Sarah Croot weaved alcohol into most of her answers, so that's.
And just another quick fact, because I did do a little bit of research. I waited until we got round to the final episode before doing anything like that. But that was our most watched episode.
Was it?
Out of all the ones that we did, yep.
Did it have a particular clientele turning up from the slopes of Davos to watch it, or?
No, I other than a noticeable spike in viewing, especially at the time. Obviously, it was in the tens of thousands as opposed to the lower tens. What? We have great viewers on here. Thousands of them.
I've never asked what the average amount of viewers that we get. I've never asked.
Rich, the line's breaking up at the moment.
Hold on. And this is the other thing, because Rich, do you want to ask now? Go on. Oh, he's having technical difficulties. Yeah. What a shame. The funny thing is, the amount of times I've hovered over this mute button, normally when it's Simon,
I was gonna say.
especially if nothing else to let somebody else have a word, has happened quite often. But yeah, that was actually our most viewed episode. Simon, do you have a favourite?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I really enjoyed Rich's video mate. I thought he's just so completely at ease with his subject matter, really clearly a worldie in terms of his expertise. I thought he was a lot of fun to kind of have there as well, and seemed to just make it so accessible to everyone. Yeah, it's not a moment; it's the whole of the interview. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
What he said that I keep on thinking about was that you're uncomfortable looking at yourself in the video, watching yourself back, because it's you're not looking at your mirror image. It was just that was fascinating, and that's a good way of coaching. And obviously, I'm not going to use that example, but that kind of that psychological element of putting yourself forward that he can really help with.
And I think that's fascinating, because I mean I've heard the same with audio as well, because you're hearing yourself from within, because you're viewing yourself unreflected in video. It's a totally different experience, and I think that's one that, to be honest, you got to get used to.
The other one quickly, I'm gonna have two. The other one quickly was Rich. The tips for the what are they called, conferences and things like that. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, that session. I know Kat wasn't around for that one, unfortunately, but Rich has done enough of these things over the years, and I just thought you had some things that might appear to be flipping obvious to you, like your horseshoe thing and don't pull the swag out at the same time. The word swag is about to appear on screen.
Yeah,
right. And I think that there was really practical. So thank you for that. It's changed how I view doing those things. So thank you.
I've got to say that was a great episode, and I mean, I think there were certain elements that were great fun and right up my street. I gotta say, I mean, I was looking back through some of these, and I think one of my favorites, we looked at how law firms use video, and I don't know if you remember, but we had a fabulous. Do you remember the floating octopus in the office?
Oh, yeah.
Flipping love that.
And then I think we also had the cannabis lawyers doing
Charlotte.
video as well. Yeah. No, Charlotte isn't a cannabis lawyer.
Charlotte.
But that again.
I actually went to buy her some swag from them afterwards and never got to buy her the cap. Right? They do a something bros, isn't it? The whatever it is, their cap. They have it on their law firm website.
But I think that was another good one, and that was a good example, because I mean we talk about how good the guests that we've had on have been. For me, one I'll give a shout out to is Keith Hardy, who for me is somebody that I've known for some time. Was always impressed with the work he did at Bird and Bird, and since as well, and just a good guest to have on. But I think we did a fair few episodes where it was just us talking through various elements. But that video one, that's the one that really stands out for me.
There's one other thing that Rich was the one as well to remind me, because I'm all about the benefits all the time, and it was actually Rich that brought me back to basics. He said to me one time, I think it was off the show, he said, "So it's called Show and Tell." I thought it was really interesting, and I've actually again gone back to some marketing fundamentals, and we do a lot more. Here are the features, here are the benefits, and actually explaining the features of things to people again. So I know it sounds pretty long in the tooth and been around for all these years and stuff, but I've got loads out of it just from spending time with you guys and thinking about things a bit differently. I've really enjoyed that as well. I keep choosing Rich as all the examples. The rest of you, that's true as well.
God, I really wondered what you were going to say.
Well, no, I didn't know about the legal digital 100 until I met Simon. So that's
now you can't escape it.
Yeah, that's something that I now share with my clients, and they said, "How do you get on this?" So just having that, it's what the legal world. Everybody seems to know everybody, but you'll always suddenly find somebody. Oh, I didn't know that person. I mean, Simon and I are both from Bristol, but I don't think our paths have ever actually crossed in Bristol. So to actually, be on a webinar for 23 episodes, speaking to a fellow legal digital marketer that I've never met before, it's been enjoyable in terms of, like you said, you pick things up. But also, further, because mine and Simon's services tend to overlap slightly, but that's been fun, that bit, because I know that we both have very strong opinions about certain elements, and that's been enjoyable for me. I love to be challenged, and I've really liked that bit.
It also lasted 21 episodes longer than Rich and I's law firm LinkedIn marketing thing that we did briefly after we came out of Clubhouse, Rich.
Yeah.
It was David and Kat that we needed to keep us on the straight and narrow.
Oh.
Didn't have the movie Hollywood flair that David has, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was death by
well,
power.
it's down to the team. It's down to the people you bring on.
I have to ask David, I'm always curious. How long does it take you to kind of process the video and get all this sorted behind the scenes? Well, because we all finish and go, "Brilliant, lovely show, thank you very much," and we disappear. But your work doesn't stop there, does it?
It doesn't. I'm slaving through into the early hours. It's horrendous. Oh, the things I do. It's okay. Well, I'll give a shout out to StreamYard. They have been our technology of choice through this, and it's what I've done webinars. I've set up companies with webinars to do this sort of thing before. It was around the time the pandemic started I first heard about StreamYard, and they have made things very simple. So this software actually, sorry to ruin the imagination of all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, but for the most part, StreamYard will support the live elements of the webinar and push it all out to those various channels. For me,
are they sending you swag every time you say their name?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm waiting for the t-shirts.
I do not know.
StreamYard. I'm going to send my address in the comments.
I haven't got my I do have a StreamYard mug around somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it. It's terrible. I mean, if we'd done a swag episode, I mean, it's frightening. I mean, I've got just quickly. I mean, this was a good one. So
I remember the episode you had like pens, mugs, caps, t-shirts, and a bag or something, didn't you?
It's all sorts. I mean, that was a little tile key finder thing, and that was from some company, SEMrush or something. I don't know. I think they do something with SEO, or I'm not sure. Might have mentioned them a few times. But I have to say,
you make more money through affiliate marketing while you sleep than you do when you're consulting during the day.
I am paid in, and it seems to be I've been paid very handsomely in swag. Yeah. But no, I've got to say, I mean, with the exception of the times when I will have the time to cut and edit, I think especially with some of the early ones, I spent some time doing a social short and reputational short. And of course, I mean, this goes back to something that we've talked about before: how to use content well. And it's taking something like this, chopping it down, making some shorts out of it. Those can play at pretty much any time, unless it's the Christmas episode, in which case your longevity is limited because everyone's wearing a silly hat, a Home Alone jumper, and has silly names attached to their little lower thirds that you have on the screen there. So yes, but generally, I mean, once you get into the swing of it, it is simple to do it. I mean, that should be a message out to those firms out there that want to do this sort of thing. I mean, this can very easily be run as an audio stream, a podcast as well.
I totally echo that. The amount of webinars I've been on in the last 6 months, I can probably say 99% of them had some form of a glitch, an upset, just wasn't up to par with what StreamYard's been like.
That never happens to us.
No.
We
can't blame StreamYard.
One thing I would say to all those firms who spend a lot of time, I think they bring the lawyer's mindset to how they run a lot of those webinars and stuff as well. And I think the one thing that we've proven here is that if you're an expert in your job, as the four of us are, right, you can turn up and talk about stuff with just basically a title and some bullets, right? And don't rehearse it. The joy will disappear at the session.
Yeah.
I think if you end up overthinking it and over rehearsing as well. There were weeks when there weren't any bullets and there was just a headline, right? And you know, everyone could spot those weeks if they could go and watch the videos, I'm sure, right? But
we definitely didn't over rehearse.
No, I think that I've seen some recently, David, where they are just overly staged as well.
Yeah,
and it just makes it's just so inaccessible, right? What we've had come back to us that the numbers, Sarah Crute episode aside, aren't always like the highest ever, but the amount of post you get afterwards.
I'm just looking for the mute button. What do you mean? They're reasonable.
Exactly, but it's not. But it's the kind of numbers that actually end up going into business development. As Rich said, he's got conversations with Martin happening afterwards. Kat, I know it's like done exactly the same. I've won business off the back of spending time on here as well with you guys as well, and get to work with each of you in different ways as well. I think that sometimes you've got to be happy with that's what you're doing, right? Yeah. Make it accessible, make it personable, make it something that people feel as though, do you know what that Rich Dibbins guy looks like? He looks like my kind of guy. He talks a lot of sense on the thing. I'm going to pick up the phone to Rich, have a chat with him. That's the outcome that you're trying to produce here. Not, am I a glacial expert on this thing, inaccessible, here's loads of slides, perfectly orchestrated, 5 minutes of whatever, 45 minutes. That's what
I think any one of us has sold in the webinar. We've all just kind of, it is like just four of us having a conversation around a coffee table.
Although cat services are available for anybody who wants to do.
It's true. I also think this, from that webinar perspective, you can spend an hour just writing a post on LinkedIn that's going to get less engagement than a video. So it may take a while to sit down and have a chat with you guys, but it's an equivalent time, and people get to see your face, like Si was saying. I also think it's almost like a practice for pitches as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is.
Like for lawyers to learn that, to get engagement with webinars, and for those associates coming through and becoming partners, that it's a really valuable tool for them as well to get used to talking to people, navigating internet outages such as me, all those little problems, but keeping it smooth and keeping it going. It's a great lesson, I think. So
we went and looked at the LinkedIn stats for last month and the month before, and out of the top 100 firms leaders, both managing partner and senior partner role, no videos from either of those two roles, across the whole of those 2 months, right? If you want to stand out in the legal market, rather than asserting that you are something as well, do something live like this, record a video like this, check it up. I know we keep saying it every episode. We've had Nathan come on and tell us that, Rich's mate come on and tell us that, we're saying it as well. I really can't encourage you enough just to go live for a few minutes.
Yeah.
People will contact you. You'll hate it. Don't watch it again. That's it. Really.
Unless you have to edit it. And then you really
case,
have to
it's
get
David.
used. Yeah, because I mean, look, I was never, years ago, I was never particularly keen listening, seeing myself and all that. I actually studied video and film for some time and got into editing then. And yeah, you just get used to it. But yeah, the key is get started. We don't have the viewership that would give us some fabulous sponsorship. I wish we could. No. But it's great fun to do, and you never know what will come out of it.
Steve Trister, who was I'd say my media coach for me, there were a couple of things I used to do, and you'll see them on the previous ones. I'd close my eyes for a long period of time when I was talking.
Yeah, that made it difficult finding clips. Rich is asleep again.
No, I was just talking, closing my eyes. And I said to him, I don't know why I do this. And he said, it's because you're thinking about what you're going to say next and your eyes were closed. So he said, you have my permission to open your eyes. And it was the weirdest thing for him to say. But then I opened my eyes. But then another thing would pop in, because I'm always conscious of filler words, ers, ars, and ums, and all those kind of things. And he said, just pause, just take a break, just take a couple of seconds, compose yourself, and then talk. He said, but you have my permission. So, Steve, if you're watching, I thank you. You're fantastic. If anybody wants to know how to really speak and be confident in speaking, Steve Trister on LinkedIn. And Jack Cook is the videographer that we're talking about in Bristol as well. So, yeah, those two, fantastic if you want to get in front of video and really make it pop, as they would say.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I doing a number of these whether they're the webinars like this or pre-recorded video for various other things, one of the other things is, and I still have a real struggle with it, is my ums. And I'll tell you what, I'm really finding that if you want to get yourself out of the habit of having those stops, not just think about it, but edit your own damn videos and try and remove them all. It's a real pain in the arse. That's what I found. And, I was doing this the other night as well, going through my comments as I was doing this interview piece and trying to remove all those to make it sound just that little bit better. I mean, at the end of the day, it sounded a lot better having them removed, but it was still a real pain to go in and basically mute all of those little sound bites out of it. See? So there you go again. I can't stop it.
Did you look like Max Headroom when you finished? Was it like...
It was the Google Analytics 4 video we did.
Is it me?
It was me.
All right.
How do you find watching yourself back, everybody? That question's for everybody.
Never ever do it.
See, that's
I don't mind it.
Talk. Watch yourself.
You don't mind watching me back, Kat, or yourself?
We love watching it. We watch it daily. I start my morning by loading up an episode of Law Firm Marketing Show and Tell. And just sometimes I'll even freeze frame on Simon Marshall. It's lovely. It just gives me positive vibes for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I bet it does. Oh, God, if this guy can get away with it.
And then he edits out the poster behind you and make sure that that's not visible.
Yeah, I guess, as I say, I mean, I never used to like it, but it's one of those things, you just get used to it, especially when you're doing this so often, especially if you are involved with any editing or reposting. You find yourself, at the very beginning, I think you find yourself accidentally hearing what's going on and seeing yourself, and then after a while you just think, it's not that bad. Yeah.
I have watched a few back and gone, Jesus, did I actually say that? And then, actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But there are some, I've watched a few back and thought, okay, I'll do that differently. I'll do that differently.
Yeah. And I think that's a good reason to get used to watching them back. You will learn a lot.
It's the only way that I was told. If you want to get better, you need to watch yourself. Because if you don't, you will have no idea how you come across. Other people will say, you come across great, fantastic, whatever. But if you really want to know, you have to watch yourself. And it is uncomfortable to begin with, but eventually you go, I do that. And that's where I realized that I was closing my eyes.
And there's a second element to that, and that is the technical side. So it's not just about watching you back and what you learn from it. But if I was being incredibly strict with you, Loss, I'd be having some serious words about some lighting, some framing, possibly some audio, especially from... Oh. He's walked off. This is the first time we've had a walk off on the show. Fabulous.
Sorry, they are just getting the lighting available in the Iron Man lab. There you go.
Well, it's wrong. So and this is another thing about, you want to try and get your webinars, whether it's like with everything else, you want to try and get it as good as you can. But as we've said, this is just us getting together. So, I did initially try to get Simon to sort out his lighting, maybe the camera angle, comb his hair, that sort of thing. But you can only go so far.
I've got a light ring. You told me to get a light ring, so I got one of those. But the thing that you two do well that I never did, and I don't think Kat does either, is you always used to stand up. So David stood up at the moment, aren't you?
I'm not today. No, I'm sitting down.
You used to always stand. Did before he was in the Iron Man cottage.
I stand in this. I'm just full of man flu. I just cannot be bothered to stand.
But it's quite an important aspect of people like trying this as well. I think because you've got to choose the methodology that's going to work for you as well. If you can stand for 45 minutes, he's got his rising desk. Look at that.
There we go.
That's a still to freeze on.
Oh God. I tell you what, the one thing about standing is it does help with posture. Breathing. It does help with the voice as well and the breathing. Yeah. It doesn't help you with your ums, as I found out. But it is something to consider. I think you can easily find yourself. You see, you're slouching, aren't you? Sit up straight, boy. But I think ultimately it's about finding what works for you. But yeah, it is. I think as Kat has said, it's just get in there, do it.
I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes because I've got another thing to go to. But I wondered if you had any plans. Are you going to do anything similar, dissimilar? What's the next thing for you guys? What's on the radar, marketing wise?
Well, for me, because you've all signed the rights away to be on this show, I'm actually looking to option the rights in Hollywood. I haven't found out who's going to be playing each of you yet. But there is a rumour that George Clooney wants to play me, basically. But let's keep that between ourselves. We shall see.
No fear of that not happening.
I thought somebody was going to crack a Will Smith or a Chris Rock line, and it was.
I was waiting.
I was waiting for that, but mine, I'll probably take mine is I'm launching two things. Well, one's already launched, which is the legal hashtags, which I'm growing. Which thank you for all the support from everybody as well on LinkedIn who's downloaded it, as well as some further LinkedIn online coaching stuff that I'm going to be doing over the next handful of months. Hence why the Staxton lab is all geared up for video and stuff like that, with the new lighting as well, David.
What's your LinkedIn hashtags?
So I've basically researched the LinkedIn hashtags for the legal industry. So far, we're up to 162 of the popular hashtags. So it's got the hashtags for LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at the moment, with the number of followers aligned to them. So law firms can, instead of just creating their own hashtag and wondering why their content hasn't performed, they can simply use these hashtags. They can see the number of followers, and it will help boost their content, saving clients loads of time. And I've been building it since I started Staxton, because I got tired of trying to find hashtags where the followers were. So I just built a database of them and been doing it ever since, further from there. And clients are like, they no longer have to go in there, search for it, wonder which ones work or don't work. It shows you the following. So it gives you the numbers. So it shows exactly what will work and what won't. And you'll be surprised at some of the hashtags that people use that have virtually a low following compared to other ones. Like hashtag legal is one of the biggest hashtags now in law firm marketing. and not many people use.
Wish you'd told us that 23 episodes ago.
Something like, just double check. I think it's in the almost the hundreds of thousands now. But yeah, so that was one, and then it was just a form of a LinkedIn course that I've constructed with a number of lawyers to help law firms. Really, it's kind of a micro course for them. Yeah, legal. Instagram has got 3.6 million posts with the hashtag legal, and for LinkedIn has 81,661 followers. Law and legislation has 5.5 million LinkedIn followers for that hashtag.
God.
So
wow. I'm just thinking of crafting my content to the hashtags solely.
How do we get hold of the LinkedIn hashtags, Rich? Go to stackstonedigital.com. Go to this is a shameless plug. And legal hashtags are under digital marketing.
I can confirm that I'm about to launch illegalhashtags.com soon, which is a lot more fun stuff on it as well. And I'd like you to come and look at that as well. It's got many, many more followers, and we'll see you down there. It's a bit warm down there, but yeah, that's what the party is.
Illegal hashtags. Oh yeah. By the way, that's not an April Fool's joke. Somebody. Maybe your illegal hashtags. My one is not. It was launched about a week ago. So yeah. But no, that's what I'm doing. So I just want to say thank you to all my clients who have been supporting Stackston over the last 14 months as well. Without you guys,
it has turned into the Oscars.
Really,
yes. It's okay. Look, we just do that. So hey, Cass. Right, look, it's quiet.
So Simon and I are actually working together, but Simon found out today that he wasn't invited to my wedding, so he might slap me in the face. But
he gets precious about things like that. Don't worry about it.
He's only mentioned it.
I wouldn't mind, but Rich and David were ahead of me in the queue, so that's.
I mean, it was 12 years ago, but never mind.
I know. I even know your husband. So. Oh, well.
But yeah, we're launching campaign marketing. It's called the Golden Thread, and we do everything from coming up with the ideas all the way through to launching that campaign, ROI, all that kind of side of it. So it's an exciting project. I think on our first pitch, we won the client within the first 30 seconds, I think. Yeah. So it's going well.
And how can everyone find out? Because you might as well pitch. Rich did.
Simon's got to put the website up.
Oh well, that screws that up. So there's a tip for you. When you've got a fabulous business starting up, make sure that you have things like a website in place.
Well, you say that, but the first 3 people we've been to have instructed us, and we haven't even got a flipping LinkedIn page. I think there's a lot in there for digital marketers just to be aware of. It's just like
there is actually. You can think of, you need 6 months to fine tune some copy and actually just go and talk to people about it.
Yeah.
And do that when you've got the clients. So
great.
Well, it sounds like everyone's going to be busy. Oh right, okay, Rich. Hold on a moment. Well, so the one great thing with this is that we do have a private little chat thing that appears at the side of the screen here, and Rich shamelessly.
The last episode. Go all in.
Yeah, well, there we go. Last show. Right. Just finally, I want to say thank you to all of you for being part of this. Couldn't have done it without you. Probably would have liked to have done many times, but
almost did.
Almost did a few times. Yes, I will say, such as today, when you're sitting there watching the countdown clock going, there's 2.5 minutes before we go live. And I'm thinking, hang on, we're supposed to be talking, because sometimes the subjects that we've covered are not areas that I am particularly on top of. And it's normally those when the 3 of you, either one of you doesn't decide to show up that week, and the other 2 wait until I'm watching this countdown clock get to about 35 seconds, thinking, God, before suddenly there's a little ping, and a smiley little Simon appears. Yay! But no,
I just seriously. Within 10 seconds, what are we going to talk about? We go recruitment. Okay, recruitment it is, and then that's it. We talk about recruitment.
I think Charlotte used to actually turn up 2 minutes after it had gone live, though, to be honest. I think she was the most guilty and also the most cosmopolitan. So
you never knew where she was going to turn up from.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be a farmyard. It could be a random city. Every background was different. I don't know if she just had stills and she was just in Luton and it was just...
I don't know. Really, she was from up north and she was based in Sheffield or something like that.
I read this brilliant...
Campo, you're from Sheffield, Gino. You're not really.
I read this brilliant message on LinkedIn yesterday. Somebody said, if you get stuck when you're doing a pitch or a presentation, you just say, "Oh, I forgot the English word for this," and everybody will think you're bilingual rather than useless. I've got that.
I'm going to use that in a pitch, I think.
Right, let's wind this up now. Otherwise, it will be the longest show we've ever done.
Have you got the Oscar music? Have you got the Oscar music to play us out?
No, I'm just going to run VT again.
Oh,
Don't ruin it. It's been a pleasure, and I shall see you all soon. Thank you for being part of it, and farewell to the Law Firm Marketing Show and Tell. Until the next great thing, bye.
Bye.
Bye.